Welcome to Bleav in Falcons. It's Ovie and Michael Turner. We have a special guest today, Mr. Bucky Brooks, the one, the only, Mr. NFL.com, Mr. NFL Network, Mr. I play the game and I work at the highest level talking about it. You know, I thought one day I'd get to NFL Network when I was, retired. And I thought it was easy because, I said, Maurice Jones-Drew doing it. This guy's doing it. I can do it. No, it's not easy. So you are someone who's accomplished a lot of great things. We appreciate your intelligence, your wisdom, and some of the advice you're going to give us as Falcons fans and the whole Falcons nation regarding what our team's going to do today. So, man, thanks for copping on the pod with us.
No, this is great, man. This is kind of a surreal moment because my connection with both you guys is different. Obviously, Ovie, you went to the wrong school. I'm a Tar Heel. You're a Demon Deacon. You were at Wake Forest when Wake Forest had it going for a little bit. So you kind of knocked my guys around for a little bit. But what you don't know is I almost ended up at Wake Forest when Bill Dooley was there. Because when I was recruited, Ricky Proehl was the guy. He's the number one receiver there. And Dooley came and had offered, but Carolina was my dream school. But Wake Forest was my fallback because of the academics. I wanted to be a brainiac. So if I couldn't go to Carolina, Wake Forest was the thing. And then Michael, I remember, man, can't remember your draft class, but man, I think I might have just started scouting out when you were coming through. So watching and doing the evaluation and watching you first with the Chargers, then going to Atlanta. So it's kind of funny. I mean, I'm dating myself because I feel like y'all are kind of like my little babies. I watch them grow up and I see y'all become like super mature and doing things after the careers. And so, look, I'm really proud that both of you guys are kind of doing the podcast and making it happen because it's great to see guys successfully transition and accomplish other things outside of whatever was done between the lines.
Cool. Yeah, man. I just want to hear your evaluations of me later on. You ain't got to on the
show. Can't catch. Too slow. Too
slow. I will say somewhere in the report, I just kind of wanted to know where Burner came from. Because maybe it was just me or maybe it was the tape that I got.
That's what I
didn't see. I didn't see the Burner part. So it almost be like if someone called Ovie Tiny. Like I was just like, okay, Michael Burner Turner, but I see a grinder. I see a guy doing the 3 yards in a cloud of dust and running through folks. So maybe that's a childhood nickname. So that's
did you give it to yourself? I think he gave it to himself because I always ask him like, who gave you that name? They need to come explain why the hell of all the nicknames you say Michael, track star, speedster. Like it doesn't make sense for me.
It started in college. I didn't make the name up myself. It started in college, and it made sense. I mean, I hated the name the whole time.
It rhymes,
but it rhymed. It rhymed. It grew on me, and most of they see me go 80, man. I don't know what y'all was. I was like y'all see the cloud of dust. But they also see me go 80 multiple times.
You did. I don't know how you did.
I was a threat to go the distance anytime I touch the football, college or pro. Gosh. I ain't gonna talk about high school. That's even. That's you can't even talk about high school. But like, I was a threat. I was a threat at any time.
A threat
at any time.
Okay. You know what, Bucky? As much somebody make fun of this guy, he actually was like I was watching some a fan sent me some video. It was just Mike going like 50, 60. Right. I was like, how? Right. How? With these little fire hydrant stubby legs, he's just moving them and just getting these yards. I don't know how it happened.
I dig it. He kind of was one of the first ones to put Northern Illinois on the map. And I remember like watching him, and I remember like, everyone talks about the MAC and stuff that. But like watching that good ball coming there, that school was one of the powerhouses in that conference, and they continued to be one of the top teams. So it's just funny. But I just always remember in my notes, like, okay, we got Burner, but I'm looking at him physically, but it doesn't match.
I was able to do both. I can grind it out, or I'll hit you with 80, 40, 50, 60. It don't matter.
I love it.
I'll give him that, man. But Buck, we want to get into this Falcons team, this new Falcons team that's got some great additions, that has some swagger that they're bringing to the table now that I feel like makes us, and dare I say it, because it's somewhat of a jinx, but sometimes you got to stand in your stuff, a Super Bowl contender. You got to get used to saying that. I feel the Falcons are now a Super Bowl contender. But before I get your take, we got to give the sponsor some love. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. From the preseason NFL to college kicking off, BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. Think you know your stuff? Get in our winners take all $300,000 NFL Survivor pool for the upcoming season. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on the game of blackjack, poker, or unwind with one of our 150 slot games. Head to the website today and use promo code Bleav, BLEAV, and get in on the action. Bet online. Game starts here. So Bucky, me and Mike, you know how we feel, and we get it. We're somewhat biased with our takes, but as somebody who sees the NFL as a whole, someone who looks at all the data teams and has to do your expert analysis, what are the Falcons' chances now of getting to a Super Bowl?
So the first thing, you guys know, like in locker rooms, the first thing that a coach talks about is before you can think about going to a tournament, you got to beat your division. So when you look around the division, like you would have to say that the Falcons are the top team in the division. We can talk about New Orleans being an older team that has some experience with Derek Carr. We can talk about the defending division champs in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield comes back. They have weapons on the outside. Their defense is always problematic. And look, Carolina is in full rebuild mode. But when you look at the Falcons, everyone has always talked about offensively, they were a quarterback away. And so you go and get a veteran in Kirk Cousins, who, say what you will about him. Look, man, when he plays, he's very productive. 7 4,000-yard seasons. He does a really good job of putting the ball in the hands of his playmakers. And I would say he is basically a pass-first point guard playing in a fast-break offense. And so you would like to think that the numbers from Jake London, Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney, you think those numbers are going to pop. And then with Bijan Robinson in the backfield, they have an opportunity to be a very balanced but dynamic offense, which will give them a chance. And then defensively, look, man, Matthew Judon coming in was kind of like, I would say, the cherry on top of the sundae. Because before that, you were worried about the defense. Like, man, they don't have an established pass rusher. They're good. We saw Jesse Bates get a bunch of interceptions and all of that. But then they go and get Judon and Justin Simmons. So now you're like, they got veteran guys, they have experienced guys, and you think about the personnel. Look, I just love what they put together. Now it's just a matter of how do you handle expectations? Because prior to the season, there weren't crazy expectations, but now it's kind of buzzing a little bit because Judon and Simmons coming over. So it's different being the hunter as opposed to being the hunted a little bit.
Absolutely. And don't forget my boy Tyler Algiers. Like, I feel bad for Tyler. He's the Michael Turner of the group. He's the guy had 1,000 yards, and now he's invisible. No one even talks about him. And he had 1,000 yards. I was a fullback. I never had a chance to be a tailback except for in high school. If I had 1,000 yards, they drafted somebody in the first round to be ahead of me, I'd feel a certain type of way because I'm like, like literally, what else do I need to do? I get thunder and lightning, but dang, first round. And Bijan's a generational talent. I get it, but if they can get along, which they will, and I've met Tyler, sat with him at a Walter Payton Man of the Year event the Falcons had. Solid human being, nice dude, wants to win more than anything, and kept on saying, I'm gonna show them. They're gonna find out. So what you gonna do this year, man? He's like, hey, I ain't gonna tell you. Just watch me. Just watch me. He had that confidence that I saw all season when he had 1,000 yards. I feel like we're stacked, and with the veteran leadership that you mentioned, we have the ability to bring the best of our young guys. And every team, or a lot of the teams who make it far and do great, exceeding things, they have someone who they didn't even expect to have an amazing season. Someone has a huge step, huge growth, and that someone usually has mentors. So I agree with you 100%.
No, it's really a unique circumstance and a unique team. And I'll say this because I was one of Raheem Morris's biggest advocates when he was out and he was interviewing for head coaching jobs. Like, he has an opportunity to do something special. And in fact, this is something that Mike Tomlin had told me years ago. And he had told me, like, hey, man, you need to check into what Raheem Morris is doing. And he put him on par with Tom Landry, the legendary coach of Dallas Cowboys, because he said, Buck, you've never seen someone who's been a leader on both sides of the ball become a head coach. Raheem Morris has been a accomplished defensive coordinator. He was pass game coordinator and very high up on the pecking order on offense the last time he was in Atlanta. So to have that level of expertise on both sides of the ball and then to return as the head coach, He was like, only Tom Landry has done that, because Tom Landry was a defensive coordinator before he went to Dallas, but called the offense when he was with the Cowboys. And so when you think about that knowledge, it gives him the thing that we all want from coaches. Can you solve the problem? So if the problem's on offense or defense, Raheem is uniquely qualified to be able to offer solutions.
Well, that's an interesting background. I didn't know that about him. So, but that's great, because always guys like is one-dimensional. So him be able to be on offense and I remember him like being a wide receiver coach at one point or something like that. I remember that, but it didn't click in my head like he's really
pass game coordinator on those Super Bowl teams.
He was in charge. He knows both sides of football like that. But oh man, that adds another twist to it, Ovie. I don't know, man.
Absolutely. But Bucky, regarding Raheem, one of the knock-ons him, because people were looking. I mean, let's be honest. When we started the coaching search, nobody was talking about Raheem. We were talking about Harbaugh, and we were talking about Bill Belichick. Remember way back then, we was like, Raheem was like, oh, we want Raheem. We want Raheem. No, we were like, oh, we get Harbaugh. We get Harbaugh, done deal.
Right.
And we were also like, why wouldn't we take Bill Belichick? He's got Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl. That's a lot, because nice guy, Arthur Smith, nice guy. Met him like once or twice. But as a coach, he wasn't what we needed. And it was 7-10, 3 years in a row we had. It was just it was a rough couple of seasons with Arthur. And the fact that he didn't have as much energy, like Raheem's the exact opposite of Arthur. He didn't have that energy. He's like, we lost again. Let him lose the season. He didn't show any left or right.
Right.
We wanted to get somebody that we were guaranteed to win with. And Raheem was not on the table. I think some of the knock on him was like, oh, he was a head coach before, didn't turn out that well. Why we want that again? We need something guaranteed. Bill Belichick was guaranteed. Harbaugh was guaranteed. We ended up with Raheem. How do you talk to Falcons fans and tell them that even though he didn't have a great first run with the head coaching job the first time, it's going to be different this time?
It's funny because everyone talks about he didn't have a great run the first time, but if you go back and you dig into his history, he won 10 games in Tampa in the midst of a rebuild. He was only young 30s. You know what I mean? I think you can imagine being 30 years old, giving a wad of cash, leading a franchise in Tampa. Like, that's a lot to manage as a coach and as a person. He has learned from that situation, and I would say he's matured on the field as a coach and even off the field in terms of being a leader that understands all the things that are expected of the head coach. But I would say his background and experience since the time that he was fired as a head coach has given him more experience to make him more qualified to do it this go round. So let's think, he gets fired, he goes to Washington, works in the secondary there under Mike Shanahan. He then comes to Atlanta, and he's on the defense side of the ball because he knows Dan Quinn, but his relationship with Kyle Shanahan enables him to go from one side to the other side. So then he works with Julio Jones, that offense, becomes pass game coordinator, leaves there, goes to LA. In LA, he had the tough task of replacing what was a hot name at the time, Brandon Staley, on a defense that was like a top 10 defense. He does that, and they win a Super Bowl. Right. So the pressure situations that he's been in, he's been able to respond to. And I think the thing that he has kind of said, he had an opportunity to go to LA and to see what that franchise looked like when everybody's connected. I think from a leadership standpoint, he understands the importance of synergy between front office and coaching staff in terms of identifying players, developing players, and then making sure the product on the field looks like it should look. To me, I think he's better qualified because he knows the inner workings of the organization, but he's been able to go outside and learn a little more to come back and make that franchise even better.
I agree. No, Raheem and Terry Fontenot has been a friend of the show. Like I don't know how they do it. Like I don't work the numbers or understand the ability to manipulate the salary cap, but the fact that we bring in Simmons and Judon, we paying them, and we just paid my man AJ. I give the official numbers, but the numbers were impressive. You can't keep AJ Terrell for paying a dollar. They paid him top tier. How are they getting Judon and Simmons and paying AJ, and they still got people to pay? It's amazing that Terry and Raheem have that trust to where they can make these moves and put us in a position, again, I think, to be a Super Bowl contender.
I think Raheem's experience in LA where they've been able to do it. Because remember, the Rams, they were giving up those picks. They were going to get marquee players, and they were saying, hey, look, let's get some stars. Let's build around the stars, and then we'll develop the guys. And so it does take a collaborative effort, because if you're going to invest in stars, right, and you can bring guys in that are star quality players and you pay them as such, well, then it's important that the guys that are playing in those roles are young, cheap players that you can develop and get them ready to play. That's why it's important that it's not only Raheem, but the coaching staff are good teachers that can develop those guys. And I think one of the best things that Raheem did is he kept Jerry Gray in the fold on defense. Jerry Gray is known for his ability to develop young defensive backs. You saw the improvement. I mean, I can't even say the improvement. Jesse Bates was already a baller, but you saw quickly how he was able to jump in and make plays right away in Atlanta.
Wake Forest.
Another one. I don't know, man. I just wish. It's like a Wake Forest show. I knew I fell into that with Bates because I mentioned him once, and I was like, oh my God. And I knew when I went again. But you're right though. Like, when you look at the composition of the team and you look at the coaching staff, like, they have the ability to develop the young guys around them. And it's going to be critical, particularly with Kirk Cousins on a big deal, some of the other guys that have impending deals that are going to be big. They're really going to have to knock it out the park in the draft and get those young guys to develop and play prominent roles while they're still on cheap contracts.
Right. I mean, that's been the key for the Chiefs and things and teams like that, how they be successful. You can pay your quarterback. And I think he's way more than Kirk Cousins, but they don't know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? They're like, how these teams still doing it? Like some teams, like, all these guys getting contracts, but like, I can't understand where the money's going. Like how they working the magic with the numbers. And so that's something I stay out of it. They're gonna work the numbers. just play.
Okay. You know what? You must not be a spades player because you don't know how to whip the books. Because I can pencil whip you on those books and make sure that we're always winning. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they're doing. So they're playing. Yeah, they're playing spades. They're working the numbers. But no, it depends on how you front load or how you back load these contracts, right? Because everyone was up at arms when they signed Kirk Cousins, but then later drafted Michael Penix. How can you have so much money committed to the most important position on the thing? Well, let's just talk about that. It's the most important position on the team. Why wouldn't you invest in a position that really ultimately decides whether you win or lose games? So you went from having no quarterback to now having two quarterbacks. Why wouldn't you want to have two quarterbacks? Because last year we saw like over 70 different starting quarterbacks in the league. The odds tell you that it's hard to go a full season without your starter. So why not invest in the position that most likely leads you to wins? And so I understand it. There's a lot of outside noise where they don't like the fact that they went high pick and big money free agency. But I do know just in that little teaser that we saw from Michael Penix, I think everyone around Atlanta is okay with it now.
Yeah, right. But they gotta wait though. They gotta wait. Wait for them though. But I'm hearing different things, man. It's some people don't believe in Kirk. Some people want Penix to play right away. It's like they don't believe why we went out and got Kirk in the first place, coming off the Achilles. I'm like, just wait. I mean, people came off Achilles all the time, so I don't know why this guy is a problem for everybody else because he's quarterback. I've seen DBs come back off of it, linebackers, everything. All we gotta do is drop back 3, 4, you know what I'm saying? 7-step drop, 5-step drop. And to play right. It's not like you gotta be Lamar Jackson, you know what I'm saying? It's a different story, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And think on top of Mike, like Kirk has talent. When he plays at his best, he has talent that will allow us to win games. Like don't worry about the Achilles. If he's healthy, we're good. Right. I know we have the Jaguars in preseason. It was all about them for a little bit, but no one's playing, so it's not really a thing. But the Steelers, how about two quarterbacks, our Penix and Kirko against the guys they have, Russell Wilson and what's his name?
Justin Fields.
Fields. Like I was embarrassed, but I'd love to get your take on our quarterbacks versus their quarterbacks, even though Penix is not going to play. I was saying, we messed up. We spent way too much money on Kirk Cousins. We could have had Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Those two guys, they would have been great for the Falcons. We don't have to spend enough money. We can spend money on the defensive end. I was all about that. This is why I'm not GM, because I would be dead wrong. It is chaos over there. It is embarrassing, some of the passes they're missing. And maybe it's just a preseason, they're getting the kinks out, but maybe it's not because they don't look good. And if they were in a Falcon uniform, I would be not too keen or too high on our Super Bowl chances. They made a great decision. So your quarterback talent matters.
Yeah, you have to invest in the position, and you got to invest in it, whether it's in free agency or in the draft. The circumstance is definitely different in terms of like paying the amount of money that you pay for Kirk Cousins and then coming back and getting a pick in Michael Penix with 8 overall, because you normally don't expend like top money at both places. But look, man, we just talked about how important the position is. And I just know, like, even before you guys played, well, you guys were down there, like that whole like Michael Vick experience. I just remember what Atlanta was like when Michael Vick was playing down there, and the energy, and when you have a quarterback and when you can throw. And look, it got rocking when Matty Ice was there, but there was nothing like this. There was nothing like the Michael Vick experience. And even though Penix has a different style, I could already feel what it will be down the line when he takes over. And if he plays like we think he's going to play, it's going to be a destination spot, not only to go to games, but free agents want to go play with good quarterbacks. And so while Kirk Cousins is the quarterback for maybe today and tomorrow, Michael Penix is coming. And I think it's a beautiful thing to do, because we've seen the best quarterbacks like a Patrick Mahomes, they've been able to sit, acclimate to the league without the pressure of having to play. And then when they have their opportunity, they're ready for it. And so Penix should be able to jump in, hit the ground running. And when he gets his opportunity to play, I would expect him to play really, really, really well.
So we'll see. I mean, so you're saying the Falcons fans got to wait, be patient.
I mean, we just paid my man $100 million. Like we just can't sit him down now. If something happens, we just hurt. But right now, you know how that locker room is. He got the big check, so he is going to get the first nod. But I think, and here's the danger, and we've all been older players on a team, when they bring the young whippersnapper in, and Kirk Cousins is having to sit on the sidelines throughout OTAs and the offseason program. And Michael Penix gets increasingly comfortable. A1s, and Michael Penix runs in the huddle and he does his thing, and then he's making plays or whatever. It does put more pressure on Kirk to perform, because now the public has gotten a little taste of what Michael Penix could be. So he's going to have to play right away. I think the honeymoon period in terms of like the tolerance from Falcons fans will not be what it was if they didn't have a young gunslinger behind him. I think Kirk's going to play well, but it does ratchet up the pressure on him right away to kind of get it going.
Yeah, I feel bad for Kirk. I was at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium for the Falcons draft party, and I've met Kirk before, but I had a chance to meet him real quick. And he probably did not think that they were going to draft a quarterback. And I was just like, just small talking about like, who you going to draft? I was like, I hope we get a receiver for you. And I said that not in, full confidence, because on this podcast, I actually said they're going to get Michael Penix. So I called it before Mike was here it was like a Monday podcast came out. I was like, I feel like the only thing better than a great quarterback is two great quarterbacks when you've been living in a poverty franchise like the Falcon. And so
I'm still trying to figure out who Ovie paid to get that information, though.
Hey, I was 100% right, because I know football. I mean, I'm not Bucky Brooks, but I know my stuff. And I went there. I called it. I had like a Sirius NFL Radio called me, and I did some interviews with them and the local stations. Like, how'd you know? I was like, I'm a genius. What do you mean, how'd I know? Genius. But yeah, so I said that, knowing that, I went on stage. I'm like, Ovie, who do you think the Falcons pick? I'm like, look at Kirk. I'm like, a receiver for Kirk Cousins, of course. And he's like, yeah. And then he picked who he picked. And
quarterback.
He's mature. He's a veteran. But if they drafted a fullback after getting me, I'm like, what are y'all doing? People say, like, what are y'all doing? I'm right here. So he's the guy, one of the few guys who I know it's not going to rattle him. It's going to motivate him, but it's not going to be like there's an internal feud with the two quarterbacks. Those aren't the type of guys that Penix is or that Kirk is. So that's great for us.
You know what? I think what helps Kirk, because Kirk was drafted the same year as RG3.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
maybe they
live in their world.
Deal with this situation. Like, okay, RG3 was the man, but Kirk had to fight his way to be the man himself. He probably had confidence to be the man all along, but he just wasn't drafted in that position. So he got somebody on his back now. So how's he going to respond?
It's business.
I mean, and he understands that. He understands that. I don't think he's going to be rattled, or I don't think he's losing sleep at night thinking about Penix. I don't think so.
No, he's not doing that. I just know that he probably leased his home instead of bought his home. Like as he was playing, he's probably planning on the dream home back in the A. And now he's like,
it is what it is. Whatever it is.
Yeah, we might have to rent it. We ain't gonna be able to buy it, but we're gonna rent it.
You know, the crazy part is that, you know, I get the Falcons. They're in a rock and a hard place. Because they say, Kirk, you know, we signed a 4-year contract, but Penix, we're going to sit you down for 4 years. We're 4 years you play, and Penix is like, no, you'll play 2 years. But Kirk, they're like, Kirk, you're going to stay here for 4 years, and like, I get it's business, but somebody's not being fully truthful, you know.
I love to see how it plays out. I love to see how it plays out, and I think both guys are up to a challenge. I think we got two guys that's great guys for this challenge. You know what I'm saying? So, man, may the best win. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they already know how it's gonna play out. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what they talk about in that locker room.
Should be fun to watch. Should be a lot of fun to watch it play out.
Before we get you out of here, man, me and Mike went back and forth on the approach to preseason. I hate it. The 3 games preseason, I don't like it, especially for the young guys who want to get a chance to show what they can do. I feel like, you know, the rosters are already set, and I guess the coaches are doing more analysis during practice than in the actual games.
Right.
The Falcons have chose to be very conservative, and me and Mike ranted about it last podcast about how we just don't think after, you know, 7-10, you should be resting anybody. Like guys should be getting their pads loosened. They should be, you know, getting used to. Penix was great. Penix he'll be sitting for the whole season. Why wouldn't you give him a second bite of the apple? God forbid he gets hurt. I mean, he has time. Kirk Cousins is going to be the starter. So, what is your thought as a old head in this game regarding how teams should go after preseason?
It's funny because I think Mike, you played for Marty, right? You played for Marty Schottenheimer.
Yeah.
See, that's what it is. I played for Marty in Kansas City. Ovie, you don't know anything about ball until you've had one of those Marty Schottenheimer 3-hour practices.
That's right.
It is one of those things. It is one of the things before the CBA, before the new school CBA.
Yeah.
I have never been more tired. I went from Green Bay, which is very much like how Raheem is running it.
Right.
It was, hey guys, we're gonna have pads on the first 8 periods. We're gonna blow the whistle. We're gonna take our pads off. We're gonna like after 9:07, we're gonna run around and execute a 21 period practice, and we're off the field. Right. Marty Ball is clack, 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 clack. I think we might have been in pads on Friday. I just remember being like tired. So I know Michael wants them to go back to old school. They start with Oklahoma drill. We're going to be physical and those things. And I will say this. There are some benefits to a hard camp like that. Because I do remember playing in Kansas City, and I'm sure Mike felt like this when he was in San Diego. We felt like we were the baddest bullies on the block. Man. We felt like when we stepped in the stadium on Sunday, you ain't ready for how physical this game is going to be. Mm-hmm. And I also remember being on the other side of it when we didn't practice like that, when we were in Green Bay and we play a physical team like a Pittsburgh. Oof. That first half of the first quarter, that first kickoff, and you're kind of getting knocked around like, whoa.
Right.
So there is something to, like I think Mike Tomlin, those guys talk about, there's not a boxer that steps into the ring without sparring. There is something to building your body up to the physical camp and those things. And Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs, they operate like that. They play their guys into the second half. They're kind of old school, like, hey, that first game, we're going to play about half the quarter. The second game, you're going to play quarter and a half. That third game, you're coming out of halftime. So I want you to understand, no, it's not a hat and T-shirt day. You're going to come out of it. But those teams have also jumped out to fast starts in the first month of the season. They don't give away games early. I understand the benefit of resting your guys and getting everyone ready for the first game and making sure you have everyone at the starting line. But there is something to, hey, let's kind of get after it a little bit. So when they kick it off in September, we're ready to go. We'll see. If they jump out and then win, then everyone will be like, hey, that approach worked. It worked for Sean McVay. Raheem saw how it worked for Sean McVay because they were able to win a Super Bowl doing it that way. But But every team is different. And depending on the composition of your team, do you have more vets or do you got young guys? If you have veterans who know how to play, well, then you can trust them to get ready. If you have young guys who don't know any better fresh out of college, hey, guys, guess what?
You're playing.
Because that's what we do. So it depends on your team.
Let me think about Marty. If Marty don't like the way the practice is going, start it over. Warm-ups and everything.
I lose it.
He'll make us go inside the building, come out, and start the practice.
Okay, so you know what?
They come out, line up, stretch. We doing everything all over again. If you don't like the way
I be hot.
So Michael, I'm glad you brought that up because I coach high school ball out in California.
Right.
And literally the other day I just did that. I didn't like the way it looked. I told him, you know what we're doing? Go out the gate. Go out the gate and come back and start the stretch lines. That's a Marty shot.
That's Marty to the T. That's Marty to the T. We got to get it right, and we got to get it right. We got to make Marty happy. Or we doing this all over. We're gonna be out there forever until we get it right. He don't like we too soft. I'm like this. Start it over.
Does Ovie know about the Seattle rule?
What's that?
Does he know about Seattle? You don't know. So when you play Marty ball,
oh my God.
Seattle rule is when you play offense, there's a trash can 25 yards down the field. Every time you run the ball, you run past the trash can, you jog all the way back with the ball tucked, high and tight. If at any point someone knocks that ball out, that's $100 fine.
You're right.
Because anytime.
Right.
And the reason why is we don't beat ourselves. We are not turning the ball over. And so it stems from way back when he was at Kansas City. They played the Seattle Seahawks and they fumbled like 5 or 6 times. And so he's adamant about it. So I knew Michael Turner knows. And if he's coaching little league, he got them little guys running all the way back.
Oh man, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I got frustrated.
Everybody's messing with you getting the ball out.
The defender got the money though. It wasn't we
poking that thing. We poking that thing out over.
They get the money. So I'm like, the money. It wasn't to track. We had referees then, so I had to hand the ball to the ref. So I was like, I'm getting up off the ground, Ovie. After I can run over 3-4 guys, but I'm getting up off the ground, and somebody come poke it out.
Ching-a-ling-a-ling.
Ching-a-ling-a-ling. I'm getting punished. You know what? I was so frustrated.
Yeah, I bet you were.
And I'm playing for free. I don't care about the Seattle rule. I don't care. It's not making no sense to me at this point. Because I was so mad, and Marty was because I said, I don't care, Marty. I don't care.
He said,
Take my money. I'm practicing for free. Take it. I don't care.
Just give me a credit card, man. Take this, Marty. Take credit card. There you go. I don't want to think about it.
Right. Yeah. If you would watch the film, what I was going through was like, there's no way I'm paying these guys money after this. Like, y'all gotta give me a chance to get up off the ground. Like, oh my God, it was like unbelievable. I was like, are you really taking?
It is.
Come on, man. And I'm 5th round pick. It's not like
I ain't got it like that. I ain't got that money.
Hey, we gotta get that. And if he's a little loose with the ball control, I gotta come through there and see if we can.
I'm fumble doing the play. But if I knock you over and everything, and I'm getting up, and you punch the ball out, and I gotta pay you $100. Like, come on, man.
Give me my money. Give me my money. Yeah,
funny.
Money.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
But no, it's funny because when you guys talk about it, like I do wonder, like because I saw the thing with Michael Penix, and I've seen like, hey, guys aren't gonna play. So for instance, when the Jaguars come, the Jaguars are gonna play their starters the first half. So they're gonna play their guys all the way through. They're coming out after halftime because Doug Peterson worked from Andy Reid, and that's what he believes in. So it will be interesting in terms of being able to kind of get after it and hey, let's go and who can get. But I've seen both approaches work. I played in Green Bay, and we didn't take that physical approach, and we got to it and went to a Super Bowl that way. And I've seen like Marty and other teams do it and have success. I think a lot of it depends on the composition of your team. If your team is mature enough to handle the way that Raheem wants to do it, you can win a lot of games like that. But you guys know the composition better in terms of their maturity and those
Right.
things. If I give you a bone, if I give you a victory Monday, can you show up? Can you show up and give me what I need Wednesday through Thursday? So all this stuff.
And that's the only problem with training camp with guys sitting. I think some guys deserve. You have to deserve to wear the hat on the sideline. Some guys just get, you know what I'm saying, they didn't do anything. Just I'm wearing the hat.
Had it up.
I had it up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it depends. It depends. I'm more the old school way. I see how the new school is doing it. I'm not. It just.
I think I'm with. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think
entitled not to play preseason. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like that part. I don't like that part.
I think the young guys have to get used to going through the grind. Like for me, if you had a young running back, that first preseason game, hey man, let's give it to him 7-8 times in a row. No. You're not coming out. Hey, let's get it to you. And you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna run it. And when we punt, you're gonna punt.
You're gonna punt team.
I hated that. I used to always do that. I was a punt team and punt return team and kickoff return team. I mean, I was fullbacks. I was everything. And that was
but think about it. But think about how you got to get prepared, because the thing that I would worry about if you're Raheem's team, if your guys haven't gone, that first game is the first time that you have to go 4 quarters. And you haven't had a taste for it. Man, we can run around and do all the gases and all that. There is nothing like playing in a game.
Nothing.
And if you haven't conditioned, if you haven't conditioned your mind and your body for, hey man, we just had a 10-play drive and now you got to go cover the kickoff, you know, and they turned it over. Now we're right back on the field.
Right.
And
the worst.
Like that.
Grab your helmet, Mike, so many times. Where's my helmet, Mike? Where's my helmet? I got my helmet.
Something changed. Something crazy.
I'm tired. I'm on the bench like this. Oh, what? Interception. Oh my God. What? Oh, this is
And man, that's conditioning, man. That's the biggest condition you can have for a preseason. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be out there and play, man. Your heart's racing a little bit faster. It's more pressure. Practice is practice, but ain't nothing like being that game, going against other competition, fans in the stadium, the cheers, the boos.
Lights.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make highlights. You know what I'm saying? It's different. It's just different.
It is. That's
good
stuff.
Well, Bucky, man, we appreciate you coming on.
Funny, dog.
We appreciate you spending some time at the Bleav in Falcons podcast. And Mike, you got any other questions for Bucky before we let him go?
Oh yeah, Bucky, you cover the Jags. Was the Jags? What's their approach this year? Was this last year just like unfortunate situations, or they feel like there was like a fluke team the year before, and they still got to prove themselves? Like, what's the feeling down there?
You know, I think last year was the best thing to happen to him. And I literally, before I popped on, I jumped in. I was on a production call about the game tomorrow. And one of the things they talked about was having a hard training camp, and that how Doug and the guys have really been at it. So, look, it's not Marty ball, but they've been going 2 hours padded practices. They've been kind of grinding. They've been maximizing all the padded things. And what happened to them last year, I'll say this, man, when they hit that bump in the road down the stretch, they didn't have the leadership to kind of pull them out. And I think the one thing that Doug has been very intentional about is making sure you get the right guys in the locker room. Because we can talk about X's and O's. It's really the guys that do it. It's you guys in the locker room to decide, hey, man, we're going to be a good team. Let's do what we need to do. Everybody be professionals. Let's come in here. Hey, I know Tuesday's the day off, but everyone needs to come in here and watch a little tape, or let's get a workout in, or let's just do whatever. We ain't got to be here all day, but there's certain things that you have to do if you're going to be a really good team. And I think they're more committed to doing that, to doing the little details. And I think it's been a concerted effort from the coaches to make sure that the guys understand how to practice and act like pros. And then I think the leadership has decided to kind of be a little more on it when it comes to holding everyone accountable for meeting those standards.
Okay.
Good stuff. Before you leave, Bucky, how can everyone support you? I know you got your Bleav in Jaguars podcast, part of the Bleav Network, the greatest network ever. I know you work at NFL Network, NFL.com. I mean, do you have any social media handles that these Falcons fans who are also Jaguars fans might want to look to follow you and support you?
Yeah, well, no, the community is great, right? The Bleav in Network is outstanding. So continue to follow me at Bleav in Jags. But then you can hit me up at Bucky Brooks. That is always available. I don't mind engaging in a little on X, like go back and forth when it comes down to it. No, it's always fun, man. And so this is great, man. I think we should we should chat more as y'all get to going, as y'all begin to kind of size those rings up and kind of which finger you want to put it on and all that other stuff.
Right.
Now we'll definitely have you back, Bucky, man. When we're on our way to the Super Bowl, after we won the division and we head to the playoffs, we all Super Bowl ready, getting sized up. We'll have you back on to give us the landscape kind of beat besides the 49ers to get to the final destination. So yeah.
So I got one thing, because I'm not coming back on here though until Michael Turner gets on social.
My God.
Like hey bro, you gotta share, dog. We need to see behind the curtain what you're doing, dog. I mean, something like get up there, put some workout videos on or something like show us like you doing push-ups or something. Give us something. Yeah.
All the burgers you eating, all that pizza. Let's get a picture. What does Michael Turner eat?
We're a community. We need to know good, bad, or indifferent. We love you, but
got you. I appreciate you, man. This is my first time ever talking to you, man. I always appreciate your work, seeing you on the NFL Network. I never thought I'd be having a conversation with you ever, but this is good. This is a good start. Good start.
All right, we appreciate it, Bucky. We'll have you on later, man. Talk soon. Thank you.
All right, man. Thanks, guys.
All right.